Good morning. Oh, I should have checked. I assume you guys are good over there? Okay, great. All right, I call the May 27th, 2025 meeting of the County Board to order. A quorum of members is physically present. I will entertain a motion to permit those members not physically present due to personal to be online. Do I have a motion? Second? All in favor? Okay, I invite everyone to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Member LaPlante, will you please lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now invite Pastor Aaron Wyma from St. Matthew's United Church of Christ in Wheaton to lead us in the invocation.
I bring greetings from St. Matthew United Church of Christ in Wheaton off the Prairie Path. Please join me in prayer. Holy God, we gather here as members of this county board and those who support this important work, grateful that you have called us to serve in this capacity together. It is our privilege and responsibility to support and advance and foster the work of creating caring and meaningful connections leading towards the common good for all folks within our county. We accept that this task is dependent on our sacred collaboration with each other. But it is you, O God, who will ultimately guide us and will bring these decisions made today to their final fulfillment. So will you send us, please, your creative spirit. Open our hearts to recognize your sacred presence among us. Open our minds to respond to your divine calling of love and empathy. Enable us to draw upon the wisdom and experience of yesterday as we respond today to the questions and concerns that may come up tomorrow. Give us freedom to speak the truth boldly and with kindness. Give us patience to listen openly without prejudice. Give us confidence to discover and explore new possibilities. Give us wisdom to discern what is right and good and just. And most of all, give us courage to participate in your ongoing work of creation care. Bless those in this meeting who are doing the vital and strategic work on behalf of all citizens under their supervision. May they listen as much as they speak. May they honor one another's humanity as they disagree. May they above all see that they have more in common than they have differences, and may they see those holy connections more clearly in this meeting. And whatever we do today, O God, may you be our source of love, light, and wisdom for now and always. I pray this in the name of the one I call Jesus the Christ, who reminds us that love is the only way, and love is the highest calling of our work. Amen.
Mr. Deputy Clerk, please take the roll.
Cahill. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Here.
Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Here.
And Zay.
Here.
Okay, good morning. We are going to start with a proclamation for National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and I'd like to invite Member Yu and Pooja Patel and Shannon Goodrich to the podium. Okay. Pooja Patel from Clarendon Hills and Shannon Goodrich from Elmhurst are members of the group Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense. They joined member Yina Yu today for a proclamation observing June 6th as National Gun Violence Awareness Day. This year, as part of the effort to raise awareness, we are asked to wear orange June 6th to June 8th in memory of Haida Pendleton and all the people in our nation who have lost their lives to gun violence. I will read the proclamation and ask our guests to say a few words. Whereas more than 125 Americans die by gun violence every day, and in an average year, more than 1,700 American residents die by gun violence. Whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. Whereas local government across the nation, including DuPage County, are working to end the senseless violence with evidence-based solutions because elected officials' most important responsibility is protecting public safety and the communities they serve. Whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding residents goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from those who are a danger to themselves or others. Whereas National Gun Violence Awareness Day takes place on the first Friday in June and marks the beginning of Wear Orange Weekend. And whereas people across the country are asked to wear orange on the first Friday in June in tribute to Aida Pendleton, who was shot and killed in January of 2013 at the age of 15, and to honor and remember all victims and survivors of gun violence. And whereas gun violence prevention is more important than ever as we see gun violence continue to impact communities in our country and in our county and across our country. And whereas DuPage County Board commends the dedicated volunteers of grassroots chapters of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in Clarendon Hills and in Elmhurst, who have been advocating life-saving solutions to end gun violence and planning Wear Orange events in our communities. Whereas by wearing orange on June 6, 2025, we can help raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board, and members of the County Board do hereby declare June 6, 2025 as National Gun Violence Awareness Day and June 6 to June 8, 2025 as Wear Orange Weekend, and encourage all residents to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. Do I have a motion? All in favor? Approve this 27th day of May 2025 in Wheaton, Illinois.
Just to say a quick few words, as many of you probably know, I was the former lead for the Elmhurst chapter of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense, so I'm really, really grateful to Chair Conroy and to the County Board for this first-time proclamation to honor National Gun Violence Awareness Day and Wear Orange Weekend. Shannon Goodrich, who is my successor and the current co-lead for Elmhurst, and Pooja Patel, who's here from Clarendon Hills, she's the Wear Orange lead. I'm so excited that they're going to be here and they're going to say a few remarks, but I just want to thank the volunteers, Annie Gray, Jennifer Zordani, Becky Koziel, and so many other volunteers who take their time as volunteers out of their busy work and family lives to really push for evidence-based solutions, to organize events all the time, and to really raise awareness on gun violence prevention. So thank you.
Thank you, Ina, and thank you, Deb. I want to thank this body for your support here today for Wear Orange and also in your recent safe storage words that you've put out into our schools. It's very important that we keep our children safe from gun violence, and we know that this is preventable. So I just want to say thank you so much again for being here and also bring awareness to a couple of the events that we've organized in our communities. And you can share these, please, with your constituents. Moms Demand Action in Elmhurst is supporting a talk specifically at the Elmhurst Public Library around United in Action, addressing race and gun violence in our community. We have two folks from our group who have done this talk one other time, and it was very successful and requested that we have this conversation once again. In Clarendon Hills, there will be a ribbon cutting. Both of these events are on June 4th, and we'll share this information with Ina. And we also have a ribbon tying in Clarendon Hills on June 6th. Again, this is something that you can all do in your homes, and you can encourage your constituents. If you have a tree or a bush or even a doorknob, you can tie an orange ribbon. And by that way, you are declaring that gun violence is a unique problem in our country that is preventable and that it is important to you to have these discussions with your neighbors. And then there is also a Wear Orange blood drive. As you know, blood drives take a lot of work to organize. This blood drive is happening in Clarendon Hills on June 6th, and we would encourage everyone to participate. There's always a shortage in the summer for blood, and this is a great way for you to assist. And so, again, thank you very much for your support and for this ongoing conversation. Have a good day.
Okay, now we're going to do Race Amity Day, and I'm going to invite, remember you, still here, and Michael Childress and Betty Lawrence Water to the podium. Okay, on the second Sunday of June each year, Race Amity Day, also known as Race Unity Day, also known as Race Amity Day, is celebrated throughout the world. Members Yina Yu and Michael Childress sponsored this year's local proclamation in honor of Race Amity Day that will be celebrated on June 8th. Betty Lawrence Water serves as the co-chair of the statewide Citizens for Race Amity Day movement. Allow me to read the proclamation, and we'll ask our guests to say a few words. Okay. Whereas Washington, D.C. hosted a national convention for amity between the races in May 1921, gathering thousands of people for a multi-race interfaith gathering. And whereas work continues towards achieving peace and unity to reach the vision of our nation, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. And whereas the greatest asset of DuPage County is its people, and more than 1/3 of DuPage residents identify as Black, Hispanic, Asian American, or multiracial. And whereas friendship, congeniality, civility, respect, and kindness are commonly shared ideals of DuPage County residents. Whereas the Towards E Pluribus Unum initiative of the National Center of Race Amity has invited communities across the United States of America to join in introspection and reflection on the beauty and richness of diverse people of its great nation, while reaching out with a spirit of amity toward one another annually on the second day of June, designed as Race Amity Day. Now therefore be it resolved, that I, Deborah A. Conroy of the DuPage County Board and members of the County Board do hereby proclaim Sunday, June 8th, 2025, to celebrate in the County of DuPage as Race Amity Day, and urge all residents of the County of DuPage to learn more about this event and participate fittingly in the observance. Second. All in favor? Okay, motion carries, enacted this 27th day of May 2025 in Wheaton, Illinois.
Wow, I wish my co-chair, Jim Persick, could be here. But thank you, DuPage County Board members. On behalf of Illinois Citizens for Race Amity, I gratefully accept the DuPage County Proclamation and sincerely thank you for once again supporting our mission for the third consecutive year. We look forward to continuing this partnership to foster harmony, respect, unity, and strengthen bonds throughout our community. Truly, we appreciate the board's caring leadership and feel grateful to call this place home. Together, we can build a healthier and stronger and more united DuPage County. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be brief. Today, as we celebrate Race Amity Day, I was telling people that this is actually one of my favorite days of the year because it's the one day that, as we come together, and you can just look at the diversity of the board that we represent, is that we clearly. We have to understand that we're all a member of the human race, not as we represent our diversity and celebrate that, we still are members of the human race, and that's the one day that I really do enjoy celebrating. Thank you.
Okay, one more, saving the best for last. I'd like to invite Supervisor of Assessment Helen Kringle, Jason Blumenthal, and Nick Kottmeyer to the podium. Okay. Helen, after 47 years of working quietly and effectively for the residents of DuPage County, today is your day to shine. You'll need a scorecard to keep track of the many positions that Helen Kringle has held here at the county. She started off in 1978 as a clerk typist. Helen was then promoted to senior clerk typist, administrative secretary, and assistant, working her way up to assistant supervisor of assessments, and finally, supervisor of assessments. Helen, your story is an important one because it demonstrates how we can all succeed with diligence, hard work, and sheer effectiveness, as you have done. Helen, please allow me to offer my congratulations to you and the wonderful chapter known as retirement. We'll read the proclamation and hear from Helen. Whereas Helen Kringle has devoted her professional life to public service, and whereas Helen Kringle began her career at the county in 1978 as a clerk typist, then held the titles of senior clerk typist, administrative secretary, administrative support specialist, administrative assistant, administrator statistical coordinator, assistant supervisor of assessments, and ending as a supervisor of assessments. Whereas Helen Kringle has been instrumental in ensuring fair and equitable property tax assessments, maintaining accuracy and assessment records, and upholding the highest standards of public service. And whereas Helen Kringle was appointed to be the supervisor of assessments during the COVID pandemic and earned the trust and respect of county leadership and township assessors. And whereas Helen Kringle spent days, nights, and weekends at her office to ensure her department would thrive, leaving her department much better than how she found it. And whereas Helen Kringle is first and foremost devoted to her family as a proud mother of her daughter Caitlin and loving husband Cliff. And whereas Helen Kringle will retire from DuPage County in June 2025, following a long and dedicated career in the public sector, and should be congratulated for consistently demonstrating exceptional judgment, professionalism, dedication to the community, and an incredible work ethic. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board and members of the board, do hereby commend Helen Kringle for her 47 years of exemplary public service, extend our sincere appreciation for her many contributions to DuPage County and the region, and wish her well in her retirement. All in favor? Aye. Enacted this 27th day of May 2025 in Wheaton, Illinois.
It's not too many times that we, staff, board get to celebrate 47 years at the county. It is very, very rare. And I will tell you that Helen has been so important to this county. And I remember in 2020, I was a person who sat down with Helen to convince her to take supervisor assessments. She was, she doubted. She's like, "Am I ready? Can I?" Nobody was more ready than Helen for doing that. No one has brought more stability to that office. She brings empathy, and what she has done down there, she was instrumental during the conversion of the whole Tyler tax system, but her knowledge is not something that you can replace ever. It's somebody who's lived through almost 50 years here at the county. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you've done for the county, for the office, and for this board, for the residents. Very much appreciate it. And I'm going to turn over to Jason here, but on a kind of entertaining note, I always talk to Helen because if you ever want to figure out Disney, what is the, she's been to Disney, and I was just talking to her family over 20 times. So she is your tour guide for Disney if you ever knew it. But thank you so much for everything you've done.
And I'll be very brief in it, but I got to say thank you, Helen. You know, a year ago, I was put into the assistant director role, and you've been nothing but amazing to work with, and really you've taught me a lot about your office and everything. And a key thing I want to point out there is her ability to be a mentor. If you ask anybody in her office, Helen is always there to help. Helen wants to assist. She explains it to you. She teaches. I know her deputy over there is most thankful for her and everything that he's done, or she has done for him. So Helen, thank you so much. And with that, we'd also like to give you this plaque. Summation of the proclamation. So thank you.
I'm not a public speaker at all. I hate public speaking. So I just wanted to get up here and say thank you to the chair, to Nick, to Jason, to everybody, to you members of the board. It has been an honor being a public servant for 47 years. It really, truly has. I have a wonderful staff that's actually over there, and I've made a lot of friends and acquaintances along the years, and it's been an amazing journey, and I really just look forward to my next chapter of my life. So thank you all very much.
Okay, on the matter of public comment, according to the county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor shall the total time provided for all exceed 30 minutes. Our state's attorney will call those names.
Lisa first.
My name is Lisa Forst, and I'm a resident of DuPage County. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I'm here today to share critical information regarding our state's voter rolls and voter history from the 2024 general election. This information comes from extensive research conducted by a team of data experts at United Sovereign Americans, a nationwide, nonpartisan volunteer organization. Their team meticulously analyzed official election files from both federal and state sources. While I'm not an official spokesperson for United Sovereign Americans, I am a dedicated volunteer who is deeply concerned by the findings. Findings that are based exclusively on official state election data. Our analysis of the certified results from both the 2022 and the 2024 general elections reveals that not all votes counted were valid and accurate under the law. These findings are substantial and warrant careful consideration. They have already been shared with state election officials and law enforcement agencies and have been submitted as evidence in federal court as part of ongoing litigation by United Sovereign Americans and other parties. United Sovereign Americans is not alone in raising these concerns. Recent executive actions at the federal level, such as the executive order entitled Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections, underscores the urgent need to enforce and clarify existing election laws. These directives are intended to guide state compliance and ensure that election crimes are prosecuted because the integrity of our electoral system is at stake. Therefore, we are here to seek your awareness understanding, support, and action, we are proposing a resolution that highlights key statistics and calls for an end to the inaccuracies and uncertainties that compromise our election. By adopting this resolution, you will demonstrate your commitment to your constituents' concerns and your dedication to uphold voter civil rights and the integrity of our elections here in DuPage County. It is imperative to address these issues now. If we do not act, the same election systems and procedures that led to errors in 2022 and 2024 will likely produce similar results in the upcoming 2026 general election. At this time, I will turn it over to the next reader to present the resolution.
Mary Jane Silvestri.
Hello, my name is Mary Jane Silvestri. I reside in the Kane County. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. To continue, we will now read the resolution entitled Resolution for a Legally Valid 2026 General Election. Whereas free and fair elections form the cornerstone of the Republic of the United States, as stated in Reynolds versus Sims in 377 U.S. 533 in 1964. The right of suffrage can be denied by a debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote as effectively as wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise. Whereas election officials bear the responsibility to ensure elections remain accurate and free from manipulation. That's in Recoy 127 U.S. 731 in 1888. The United States Supreme Court affirmed the election officials must strictly adhere to federal and state laws governing process, defining election misconduct as the evil intent consists in disobedience to the law. Whereas our constitutional system of representative government relies on 4 fundamental principles for validity in our elections. Number 1 is accurate voter rolls. Election officials must maintain voter registration lists that are accurate and correct, which includes facilitating the registration of eligible citizens as well as preventing the registration of non-citizens, fictitious names, and ineligible applicants. This is from the Voters Registration Act in 1993. And number 2, eligible voters only. Election officials must only count voters cast by eligible citizen voters. That's the U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. And voter reconciliation. Election officials must ensure that the number of votes counted match the number of participating voters. And number 4, system accuracy. Voting systems must achieve accuracy standards set by Congress by eliminating ballot counting errors to no more
Ms.
than
Foxtis, your time is up.
Thank you very much.
Babe Poxtis.
Hi, my name is Babe Poxtis, and I am a resident of Cook County. I'm going to finish her last number 4. System accuracy. Voting systems must achieve accuracy standards set by Congress by limiting ballot counting errors to no more than 1 error per 125,000 ballots. That's the Help America Vote Act from 2002. Election officials must substantiate assertions of accurate outcomes with transparent records. Whereas United Sovereign Americans conducted an independent audit of the Illinois 2024 general election data and uncovered alarming irregularities. Our auditors directly measured 4,566,205 material registration errors and omissions in the voter database. 1,045,659 votes improperly counted from these ineligible or uncertain registrants. 56,164 excess votes counted beyond the number of voters who participated, with no explanation for their origin. 1,045,613 voting violations exceeding the legal error threshold, where only 46 errors were allowed under federal law. The audit findings indicate severe violations of state and federal election laws and potential fraudulent certification. Whereas election accuracy is defined as the ability to capture and report voter selections without error. By definition, only eligible citizens are voters. Election officials violate civil rights, undermine public trust, and jeopardize national security when they certify an election that fails to reach this standard. Whereas the irregularities in the official records of the 2024 general election call into question the validity of the election, threatening the guaranteed protection of our natural rights under a Republican form of government. This emergency inflicts immeasurable harm upon our families, our way of life, and the fabric of these United States. It raises the specter of false representation in U.S. Congress and state governments, an allegation that election officials are currently unable to disprove. Thank you.
Tom Kozik.
Good morning. My name is Tom Kozik. I'm a resident of Kane County. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. Therefore, be it resolved, the DuPage County Board demands immediate action to ensure legally valid and transparent 2026 general election by implementing the following measures. Number one, infrastructure compliance. Election officials must ensure that all voting systems meet Federal Information Security Modernization Act standards and maintain compliance throughout the election process. Number two, voter verification. Verify that all voters are legally eligible for U.S. citizens before their votes are counted. If the voter's eligibility is in question, their vote must be withheld as provisional until legally verified. Number three, ballot security. Enforce all issued and counted ballots to comply with robust chain of custody protocols to secure ballots from forgery, tampering, coercion, destruction, or injection. Number four, accurate counts. Ensure that all voted ballots are received and every ballot accurately counted, with any material questions resolved through the lawful adjudication procedures with oversight. Number five, proven outcomes. Election officials must investigate and resolve, if necessary, re-administer any elections that cannot be proven accurate and compliant. In every jurisdiction, officials must provide records substantiating election and initiative results to citizens. Additionally, officials must securely store all ballots and operational records, including electronic records, to protect them from auditing purposes from tampering or alteration. Be it further resolved that the DuPage County Board calls upon county, state, and federal legislators, law enforcement agencies, prosecutors, judges, and election boards to uphold these principles, ensure legal compliance, and restore public confidence in our electoral system. Our signatures to this resolution affirm our commitment to protecting the constitutional mandate of legitimate representative government and ensuring that every valid vote is counted accurately and lawfully. Thank you.
Ms. Zitko?
Good morning. My name's Jody Zitko, and I'm a resident of Kane County. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans, and I'm also the state chapter director for Illinois. In conclusion, you have just heard a resolution that exposes significant inaccuracies from voter registration through the certification of the 2024 general election. It calls for immediate, substantive action to ensure the integrity of the 2026 general election and for all voters. The resolution is firmly grounded in multiple U.S. Supreme Court precedents which underscore the necessity of these corrective measures. Our current election procedures do not fully comply with established laws, and these laws are too often disregarded. Some citizens, including elected officials, mistakenly believe that these issues can be ignored because the president, the current administration, and other officials are handling it. This complacency represents an abdication of civic responsibility. Benjamin Franklin's warning, "It's a republic if you can keep it," applies not only to his generation, but to ours as well. Your leadership and decisive action are urgently needed. Our voting system, which should protect our most fundamental right, the right to choose our representatives, is failing to deliver accurate, transparent, and verifiable results. Should we continue to ignore the anomalies within our election system, a system essential to our national security? The cost of inaction extends far beyond dollars. It threatens our economy, military, foreign policy, public health, the confidence of our youth, and our national dignity. The stakes could not be higher. I urge you to demonstrate your commitment to American representative government by passing this resolution. Thank you.
Ken Zitko?
Hi, my name is Ken Zitko, and I live in Kane County, and I'm an Illinois State Chapter Director for United Sovereign Americans. I also have some documents that we prepared for the board for their review. I'll leave on the press table here. Let us consider the broader context. Many Americans, including a significant number of residents in Illinois and in DuPage County, have concerns about the reliability and transparency of our elections. While we all wish this were not the case, official government data substantiates these concerns, and the law requires that they be addressed to safeguard our liberty. Regrettably, government representatives at various levels have not been transparent or responsive to citizen audits of official election data. The right to choose our representatives through lawful and transparent elections is the cornerstone of our constitutional republic, a right fiercely defended for over 2 centuries. Today, you have the opportunity to uphold that legacy and demonstrate to your constituents that you value American liberty by passing this resolution. It's worth noting that we've been here before. About a year ago, United Sovereign Americans, some of the same people that presented here today, presented a resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. We presented here and in 50 other counties across Illinois. A year ago, we presented the scorecard from the 2022 general election. Today, we're sharing the scorecard from the 2024 general election, and it shows that the numbers of apparent violations and the number of seemingly invalid votes are increasing. I realize that this issue may need to be on the agenda for the board to discuss and vote on it. If that is the case, we ask that you invite us back and place the issue on the agenda so that we can provide a more detailed presentation and answer any questions the board may have. Contact information for the state chapter directors is included on this documentation I just provided. For further information, the United Sovereign Americans has a website that provides information about these anomalies and invalid registrations that we're talking about, as well as lawsuits that we've filed across the country. I encourage you to visit uniteforfreedom.com. That's unite, the number 4, freedom.com to learn more about our project and this vital issue. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Jesse Gutierrez?
Morning. My name's Jesse Gutierrez. I'm a resident of West Chicago. I'd like to bring up a subject that may indirectly affect the county, particularly one section of the One Big Beautiful Bill, Section 70302, Restriction of Funds. In this proposed bill, it states that no court of the United States may use appropriated funds to enforce a contempt citation for failure to comply with an injunction or temporary restraining order if no security was given when the injunction or order was issued pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 65C, whether issued prior to, on, or subsequent to the date of enactment of this section. In other words, the Trump administration is looking to further weaken the judicial branch of the government, which could also affect DuPage County as well. The DOJ won't be able to be held accountable for ignoring all the court orders, for example, to bring back Abrego Garcia, along with any other court orders they wish to defy in the future. That's all I wish to say. I just wanted to use this as a opportunity to raise more awareness about this very small section of this bill. Thank you.
Okay, if the board has received public comment via our online portal per board policy, those comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed. Comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Well, last Tuesday, member Sheila Rutledge shared her letter of resignation from this board. She will continue to serve District 6 constituents through the August 26th County Board meeting, then transition full-time to her duties as Winfield Township Supervisor. As I said in my statement, I would like to thank Sheila for her passionate service as Environmental Committee Chair and for her collegial approach here on the board. Per statute, with the advice and consent of the board, a resident of District 6 from the same political party, Sheila is a Democrat, will be selected to serve the rest of Sheila's term, which ends December of 2026. All interested applicants from District 6 should email a resume and letter of no more than 300 words outlining their interest to me at chair@dupagecounty.gov. And there will be a lot more to say about that later. Okay, she's not gone yet, and we know where she lives, so. Okay, on to the consent items. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda. Okay, all in favor? Okay, 25-13-53, DuPage County Board regular meeting minutes, Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. 25-12-82, 5/9/2025 pay list. 25-12-90, 5/9/2025 auto debit pay list. 25-13-2, 5/13/2025 pay list. 25-13-14, 5/14/2025 polling place pay list. 25-13-37, 5/16/2025 auto debit pay list. 25-13-38, 5/16/2025 pay list. 25-13-61, 5/20/25 pay list. 25-12-78, 5/6/2025 Corville wire transfer. 25-12-87 Recorder's monthly revenue statement, April 2025. 25-13-60 change orders to various contracts as specified in the attached packet. All in favor? Okay. And we'll move on to County Board and Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on CBR 4425, the appointment of the Public Aid Committee.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
And Cahill.
Okay, Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on CBR 4525, resolution approving the member initiative program agreements.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on CBR 4625, resolution establishing the creation of a county land bank and authority to partner with Community Land Trust.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on 4725, declaration of vacancy of County Board District 6 seat.
The reality is
Do I have to say? No. Leave is granted. Thank you, Vice Chair Childress. Okay, moving on to Finance and Member Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. For my committee update, we did have a great discussion and presentation regarding the establishing of the creation of the county land bank at the finance meeting. So if you weren't here, although I think everybody was here today, but I would definitely take a look at that and see what great things that our staff is planning, along with the chair, in terms of making housing more affordable in DuPage County. It's just something that's dearly needed. I make a motion to approve FIR 008125, acceptance and appropriation of additional funding for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. This is WIOA grant program year 23 intergovernmental agreement. So this is for the total cost of $5,668.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Garcia.
Aye.
Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. And Galassi.
Okay. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 008925, acceptance and appropriation of the Animal Services Illinois DCEO Public Health and Safety Grant for program year 25. This is in the amount of $275,000 for animal services.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 009025, acceptance and appropriation of interest earned on investment for the DuPage Animal Funds Phase 2. This is in the amount of $2,765.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
Make a motion to approve FIR 009225, budget transfers from 5/27/2025, various companies and accounting use.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
Make a motion to approve FIP 000425, recommendation for the approval of funding for Castagny, Brooks, Smith, and Profit LLP to provide legal services regarding the cyber incident as Special Assistant State's Attorney for the State's Attorney's Office for the period of April 28, 2025 through April 28, 2026 for an amount not to exceed $100,000.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia. Animal Services and Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just real briefly, everybody should have got their invitation. The grand opening of the new building will be on June 14th with the ribbon cutting scheduled at 10 o'clock. I know everybody here likes animals and dogs. If you like hot dogs, this Thursday, Portillo's, 6 participating Portillo's in DuPage County will be giving 20% of their proceeds back to the DuPage Animal Shelter. And those are the Downers Grove, the Glendale Heights, Naperville, Elmhurst, Villa Park, and Bloomingdale. So all 6 of those Portillo's this Thursday. Good news is it's from 12 to 8, so you can go there for lunch and dinner and help support the DuPage Animal Front. So again, I want to thank them for doing that. And again, June 14th at 10 o'clock will be the ribbon cutting. It's open to the public. It'll be an all-day event, and there'll be tours scheduled. There'll be vendors out there. So it should be a good time for us to show the community the new facility. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Member Krajewski. Development, Member Tornatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Vice Chair, you chaired the committee. I ask if she would present today's committee update, please.
Thank you, Member Tornatore. Thank you, Chair Conroy. I move on DCR 2-25 to approve a resolution of declaration of surplus property located at 22 West 146 Hillcrest Terrace, Medina, Illinois.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. And Tornatori.
Okay, member you.
Thank you. I move on DCO 18-25, zoning 25-8, Smiley, to approve the following: variation to reduce the corner side setback for a new deck from required 30 feet to approximately 10 feet, and a variation to reduce the corner side setback for a new front porch from required 27 feet to approximately 20 feet.
Leave is granted. Member you.
Thank you. And I move on DCO 19-25, zoning 25-13, ordinance of Aspen, conditional use to allow an existing shed to remain less than 3 feet from the rear property line where the shed has existed for at least 5 years. ZHO recommendation to approve.
Leave is granted. Member you.
Thank you. And I move on DCO 20-25, zoning 25-14, Trouth, to approve the following: variation to reduce the interior side setback for a new deck from required 3 feet to approximately 2 feet to replace an existing deck with a new deck in the same location, where ZHO recommendation to approve.
Leave is granted. Member you.
And finally, I move on DCO 21-25, zoning 25-19, Zayas, to approve a variation to reduce the corner side yard setback for a new house on existing foundation from required 20 feet to approximately 10 feet. Also, ZHO recommendation to approve.
Okay, it's been moved. Leave is granted. Thank you, member you.
Thank you.
Economic Development and member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For my remarks, I just wanted to mention that Economic Development Committee met last week, and in recognition of AAPI Heritage Month, I invited 2 guests who are business owners, entrepreneurs, and also members of the Asian American community: Melissa Villanueva, who is CEO of Brew Point Coffee, and Larry Blackburn, CEO of Datatelligent. And they both came to share their stories as leaders in their respective industries, creating jobs and shaping workforce development in DuPage. And in addition, we will soon be having our second Industry Insight series or session on the morning of June 18 in the area of healthcare. WorkNet DuPage, their Workforce Innovation Board, and Choose DuPage will be convening representatives of DuPage County's healthcare employers to discuss challenges, successes, needs for developing a strong healthcare workforce, and it promises to be an enlightening morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Environmental and member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. No report today.
Okay. And Human Services, member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to share with you and the rest of this board that at our Human Services meeting last week, we did approve all these small agency grants that were selected by the members. We will be having a reception for the recipients on our June 24th meeting in between our Finance and County Board meeting. So you'll have a chance to meet those representatives from those organizations, and then I think we're having a check presentation too at the meeting, 10 o'clock meeting. So I do want a couple shout outs with this program. First, I want to give a shout out to member LaPlante for all her hard work in District 4. It was the only district that had more requests than money allowed, and you did your strong due diligence and hard work putting together something so everybody got something. So thank you, and thank you to the rest of District 4 for the cooperation involved. I also want to thank our finance and our state's attorney staff for their hard work. It's a very, very difficult process, and they followed my direction to a T, did everything that we asked of them. So thank you very much for all your hard work on the finance staff. So I will move on item 251330, HSP 40A-24, amendment to resolution HSP 40-24. Issued to Healthy Air Heating and Airing for weatherization services to provide mechanical and architectural weatherization labor and materials to increase encumbrance in the amount of $50,000, resulting in an amended contract total not to exceed $916,434, an increase of 5.77%.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatori. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. And Rutledge.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2325. Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Keurig Dr. Pepper, the American Bottling Company, for beverages and fountain drinks for the DuPage Care Center and cafes on county campus for the period July 30th, 2025 through July 29th, 2026, for a contract total not to exceed $30,600.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. Judicial and Public Safety and Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on JPSR-6-25, resolution approving funds to administer the Seniors Drive-Through Meal Pilot Program in the amount of $142,000.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Evans.
Aye.
Galasi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. And Eckhoff.
Okay. Thank you, Member Evans. And Legislative and Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In Springfield, it is the final week of the spring session. Legislators are looking for solutions to close the budget gap with uncertainty over federal funding. They're taking up the challenge of public transportation. They're repairing inequities in the state's pension system. Governor Pritzker wants to ensure more abortion protections, and discussion about the Chicago Bears relocation is happening. That's what's going on in Springfield. In Washington, it's kind of the Wild West right now with tariffs, no tariffs, the DOJ cutting, making cuts to HUD, cuts to community services. And that story kind of changes every day, so it's really up in the air what's happening in Springfield. I do want to mention that our next legislative committee meeting will be on June 10th, where we'll have our Springfield lobbyists in, or Zooming, I'm not sure, to talk about everything that was going on in Springfield, and also our federal lobbyists to kind of help us get a touchstone on what's happening in Washington. So that's June 10th. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Desart. Public Works and Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on PWR 425 on the recommendation for the approval of an agreement between DuPage County, Illinois, and Illinois Corrosion Network for funding engineering and inspection services for water system planning for public works for a period of May 27, 2025 to May 26, 2034.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galasi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
And Cahill.
Okay, Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on PWP 1325 on the recommendation for the approval of a contract to United Door and Dock for 4 slide gates for the Woodridge Green Valley Wastewater Treatment Plant for Public Works for a period of May 27, 2025 to May 26, 2026 for a total contract amount not to exceed $53,253.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMP 2525 on the recommendation for the approval of a contract to Altifer Industries to furnish and deliver 1 Caterpillar compact tractor loader with accessories for facilities management grounds for a period of May 28, 2025 through November 30, 2025 for a total contract amount not to exceed $96,760.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMP 2625 on the recommendation for the approval of a contract to Allied Valve, Inc. to test, repair, and recertify safety relief valves for boilers at the power plant and facility for the power plant for facilities management for a period of May 28, 2025 through May 27, 2028 for a total contract amount not to exceed $70,640.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Vice Chair Childress. Stormwater and Member Zay.
No report, Madam Chair.
Okay, Technology and Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on 20A TE-P-7-25, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Telcom Innovations Group LLC for the annual maintenance of the county phone system for information technology for the period of August 7, 2025 through August 6, 2026, for a contract total amount of $88,754.50 pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galasi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog.
Aye.
Rutledge. Shorzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. And Childress.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Member Covert. Transportation and Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I kind of think spring is here. I do know that our maintenance crews for the Department of Transportation have been out trimming the prairie path. I heard them from my own home. Get out there and enjoy the paths, and hopefully we will have some decent weather. Now I'd like to move on to my items here. Move for approval of DTR 001125, resolution to update project section numbers for various projects to meet the Illinois Department of Transportation's requirements for using Rebuild Illinois RBI funds.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ozog.
Aye.
Rutledge. Shorzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Cahill. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galasi. Garcia. Heather. Honig. Krajewski. And LaPlante.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 001225, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Woodridge for the reconstruction of North Frontage Road, Woodridge Drive to County Highway 33, 75th Street right-of-way, no county cost.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
I move for approval of DTP 003325, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Sutton Ford Incorporated to furnish and deliver one 2025 Ford F-350 crew cab for the Division of Transportation Fleet Department for a contract total not to exceed $79,551.40, contract pursuant to Governmental Joint Purchasing Act.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
Thank you. And finally, I move for approval of DTP 003425, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Sutton Ford Incorporated to furnish and deliver two Ford F-350 crew cabs for the Division of Transportation for the period May 25th, 2025 through May 26th, 2026, for a contract total not to exceed $149,272.80, contract pursuant to the Government Joint Purchasing Act, Suburban Purchasing Cooperative Contract 225. Thank you.
Okay, leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozog. Okay, we're going to move on to old business. Member Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I wanted to bring it to the board's attention that the final paperwork has been signed in regards to the lawsuit for the sheriff's office for the $11 million. There is a reason we haven't been speaking about it on the county board, because we were waiting for all the paperwork to be signed. I do know for a fact that this was a horrible situation that happened in the sheriff's office. And I am looking for perhaps a presentation from someone in the sheriff's office to see what they have changed, the processes they've done so that someone doesn't get this ill again, to where they become this horribly ill, that they pass away under our care. All people are under our care when they're here in the county campus, and especially even in the sheriff's office. And I had something much more professionally written on my computer, which is sitting on my kitchen cabinet. So I'm kind of going off the top of my head right now. But I know here on our county board that public safety is one of our #1 concerns. And if we have somewhere where people are going into the correctional center and they're not coming out in good health, or something else horrible is happening, we need to find out ways so that we could actually change things. And so I'm hoping that this has been a wake-up call. but I'm hoping that either through JPS or here at our county board that we can have some presentations about what has been changed so that this will never happen again in the future of DuPage County. Thank you.
Okay. Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I just want to start by saying that my comments have nothing to do with, I don't think, with DuPage County, but the United States in general. The public comments that we had this morning, I wholeheartedly agree that votes that are should not legitimately be cast, should not be counted. But on the other hand, I hope that that group is looking into the purge of voters of color, disqualification of provisional and mail-in ballots, interstate cross-check got ousted already, but come on. Sorry, I was kind of looking some of this stuff up. They caught me by surprise. The crucial statistic, and this is by a gentleman that is a statistic and economic policy wonk, has worked for the federal government, is that a black person will be 900% more likely to have their mail-in or in-person ballot disqualified than a white voter. So I hope that this group is also looking into those kind of statistics as well, because yes, every legitimate vote should count, and people should not be taken off of voter rolls because they have a common name like Johnson or Lopez or things like that. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay. Member Honig.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to echo what Member Garcia said, that I do believe that a presentation would be helpful for us to see the progress that should be made there at the Sheriff's Office to ensure that this doesn't happen again, because this is truly heartbreaking, and especially for us as a county. We all have family that we care about, and if you're under the care of a police department, you would hope that they would receive the care that they deserve. And I think we need some answers and some progress going forward, because at the end of the day, this cannot happen again, and we want to make sure it doesn't. And I think moving forward, a presentation would be great. So thank you, Chair.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to new business. Member Ozak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I need to bring this up because of the people who came to speak to us today regarding elections. I've been on this board, I'm in my 7th year, and one of the first things that we were able to do was purchase machines, update machines after 20 years, which have led us to, since 2018, 10 extremely well-run elections, which I'm very proud of because we were part of the funding for that. And it needed to have been done 10 years prior to when we got here. So I'm very proud of that. However, I need to address some remarks directly to our deputy clerk. Last week, or a week ago Friday, you made a reference on social media. If I were running in a 2026 Democratic primary in DuPage County, which I probably will be, hope I don't have a primary, but I certainly wouldn't want my record to be that I blindly followed the Republican state's attorney into wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money on a lawsuit attempting to interfere with the independent administration of DuPage County elections. Now, as a board member, and I've been a board member on 2 boards now for 15 years, I know that I must never discuss something that is in litigation. I'm also been married to a lawyer for 40 years as well. But Mr. Johnson, I have to say that your comments, and you've done this before on social media, are inappropriate. You work for the clerk. The clerk is the person who has filed the lawsuit, and I am a named correspondent on that as a board member. So you need to not do this. I'm really very upset about this because you're also inferring that my vote or my running is part of interfering with the independent administration of elections. This lawsuit doesn't have anything to do with elections. To me, it has everything to do with simple housekeeping and how we deal with various financial reports, etc. But the fact that I'm part of this lawsuit means that I certainly respect the fact that I must not discuss this in public, and you need to do the same thing. So watch it. It's really inappropriate. And you can smile all you want, but it's really inappropriate. Did you take an oath to be deputy clerk? Did you take an oath? Yes or no will do. I believe you did take an oath. So did I. And that means that you need to follow the proper procedures and that you don't discuss this sort of thing, ongoing litigation, in a public forum. Thank you.
I'd like to just add to that, while the deputy clerk, as we all know, attended Harvard, he is not an attorney. So please, if you read his Facebook posts, understand that he does not have the legal experience, and this board listens to our state's attorney. Anybody else? Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On a lighter note, I want to congratulate all the graduates that are graduating this year. And I also am very proud that my elementary school and junior high girls are also graduating. So I will not be here next week at the committee meetings, and will ask Member Eckhoff to take over if he can. Thank you for that.
Oh, gosh, she gave you plenty of time to prepare. Okay, anybody else? Okay, and congratulations to all the graduates. I know many board members have great celebrations within their families. I'm informed we do not have any matters before us requiring us to enter into executive session. I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? This meeting is adjourned till Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. And Member Evans, Member Covert, Member Heather, and Member Yu. Can I have you guys back here?